Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk to you about a prank video that's been going around, oddly enough. And this is kind of a almost public safety warning, I guess. But ultimately the video that I'm referencing, which I won't be showing because it's gone viral enough already, and it's a really not just bad video in what it's trying to show off, but also just a really irresponsible one and fake one. So anyway, the one that I'm referencing, the video that I'm talking about here, is one where a boyfriend apparently takes a lady era, otherwise known as female Viagra pill, crushes it down and introduces it into his girlfriend's Red Bull. Then throughout the rest of the video she gets progressively more excited, more eager, and then eventually tries to have her way with him, as it were. And suffice it to say, firstly, that doesn't make an awful lot of sense and seems very fake in the first place. But also, secretly introducing crushed pills into someone else's beverage is not a good thing to start a video with, just to begin with, and definitely is not a thing that anyone should fucking do. Hence me calling this irresponsible. But there's a deeper element of this, because in the video you see that the pills, you see the pill packet as he's popping one out and crushing it down, and we see that it is called Lady Era, 100mg pills. Now if you go and take a look at the website for this product, you will find out that it is a 100mg pill of a drug called sildenafil, which then, if you actually look up what sildenafil is, you find out that that is literally just normal Viagra. Now, on the website, it does say that where is it? That it has been scientifically formulated and has been FDA approved and all that kind of shit. Suffice to say, no, it fucking hasn't, insofar as this application. In terms of, is this a drug that can be used by men and women? Yes. Is this a drug that has been considered safe? Relatively speaking. But what's it actually used for? Well, rather unsurprisingly, as sildenafil is, by its more commonly known name, Viagra, for the most part it is given to men to treat erectile dysfunction. When it comes to things that it is used for in both men and women, it is occasionally used to treat pulmonary hypertension, which is high blood pressure in the blood vessels that supply the lungs. And so, as a result, you go, okay, well, fair enough. So it's at least seemingly safe, and it's like, can be, because there are a collection of side effects that can go with this, including headaches and other such things. And so as a result, you end up looking at this and going, right, well, there are potential side effects to it, and also if you've got various other conditions, especially ones in regards to your heart or liver, or if you're taking nitrates for chest pains, if you have low blood pressure, all of these kind of things, certain inherited conditions, including an eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa, all of those kind of things can cause cause you to not really take this drug in a way that will help you. But then also in regards to people with forms of anemia and stomach ulcers and things like that, also suggested that they should at the very least check with their doctor before going and taking on this drug. Now, when it says, the effects for women, I did a little bit of digging, and I could only find one study, which was a study done in Italy. Unfortunately, I can't find. I should have noted down the name of the study, but I didn't. Unfortunately, my bad. I'll try and find it and leave it down in the description afterwards. But it was a study that had 51 women in it. Firstly, that's not a representative sample. And during the course of the study, several of those women dropped out as well. Now, they had different levels of the sildenafil drug being administered to them. None of them as high as the 100 milligram pills that we see used in this viral video, because 100 milligrams is the highest, when the usual dosage for the average person is 50 milligrams and no more than once a day. In which case it can be raised to 100 milligrams, but it's not the normal dose, as it were. And in this study, you had a placebo group that was a control group, you had a 25 milligram group, and you had a 50 milligram group. In which case, you are having this person in this video supposedly dosed with double that amount to begin with, which isn't a good idea. And then on top of that, it's a case of going, right, so what were the findings of this study? And they found within these 50 people, or just under 50 people, after certain people have dropped out, after some of the women have dropped out, they found that only in very specific situations did it really seem to have any positive effect overall. Yeah, and they made some very specific suggestions about how it could be that the blood flow that's stimulated as a result of taking the drug could help with sensation. Now, what we see in the video is someone who is supposedly very sexually healthy becoming even more eager for it. That isn't what the drug would do, because what the drug would do is go, as was found with this study, it wasn't that the women were lacking in sexual desire, it was that they were lacking in sexual sensitivity. And so they were completely healthily desire-wise, but they were not able to enjoy to the fullest the interaction that they would be having on a sexual front. And so what we're seeing in the video is obviously fake, but imagine the number of people, and people aren't going to see this video either, I would imagine, to any extent, but imagine the number of people who are going to see that video and think, wow, that product is going to be so helpful, that product is going to be great. And we've seen this with other products as well, like the Adye thing, where if you drink alcohol with it, you become comatose, and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't, so far, in terms of either a libido booster for women or an equivalent, as it were, Viagra equivalent to better, allow women to better enjoy sex if they are having issue with it up until that point. It's not something that we have readily available, and a lot of the other kind of maybe slightly more fringe or alternative treatments that have some kind of grounding to them have their own risks as well. A lot of those kind of suggested treatments and things like that suggest increasing estrogen levels, and it's like that's all very well and good, but as any woman who has engaged with chemical contraception knows, sometimes increasing estrogen levels can make you give you a higher risk of certain forms of cancer. It can cause all manner of other problems for you, and that's why there are estrogen-free versions of those chemical contraceptives as well. Where they are far more, I believe it's progesterone based. And so it's a case of going, this video in particular is absolutely terrible. Like the stupidity behind it, just to get clicks, get views, and all the rest of it, the irresponsible attitude behind it, and the fact that it's just plainly fake. If it was I don't know, one of an experience video where they're going, right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to see if this makes any difference to our sex life, then I'd be like, okay, fair enough, they're doing an experiment. Very small experiment because it's only the two of them, but fine. But they're not. They're messing around and they're giving people the wrong idea, and it makes no fucking sense, and it's just plainly dangerous, because you go and buy these pills, bring them in, you don't necessarily know what they are, where they come from, you crush them up and you put them in someone else's drink. And there are I did a couple of quick searches on Google, and there are so many places selling this. And as we've seen with certain other online drugs and things lately, and certain over-the-counter drugs and other bits and pieces like that, they're not all well tested. They're not the most helpful or useful to people if they don't come from a reputable source, if they don't come from a decent brand, if they don't come from somewhere where you can verify that they are the right drug. And then on top of it, you introduce 100 milligrams to someone without taking into account how big they are, without taking into account how much they would ideally need to take, and all that kind of thing. And you've got common side effects to this that include headaches, feeling sick, hot flushes, indigestion, tinged vision and blurred vision, and dizziness. And that's the normal kind of most common side effects. But especially if you've dosed someone with a much higher amount than they're supposed to take, because again, this is a Viagra pill essentially, and you're looking at the average doses being half of what these pills are. And half of what these pills are is for a man, a full-grown man who tends to be on the a darn sight larger than your average woman. And yet you are trying to dose a woman with double that amount. In which case then, though, you go and look at the more serious side effects from overdosing on this stuff, or taking too much, or if it doesn't respond well to you, and you've got things like chest pains, prolonged swelling, in terms of additional erections and things like that last for over 4 hours. You need to go and seek your doctor, because that could cause you all kinds of problems with clots. But imagine that inside your body where it's less obvious for a woman. Loss of vision entirely. This stuff can literally make you go blind. And things like skin reactions, and at the very worst, seizures. You can literally go into a seizure state as a result of taking too much of this, or having one of these side effects crop up because there is too much of it in your body. In which case, just a word from someone who's just gone and looked into this: don't fucking do what's in this video. Don't go and do the silly bullshit that is being kind of shown off as some kind of fun entertainment, because the video is fake and the fucking drugs are potentially dangerous. You could have an amazing time with your girlfriend after dosing them with it, because you just think you're just feeling more positive about it. You're feeling more confident in that interaction, in the, oh, I've dosed them up so that we're gonna have fun. And then you have your fun and all the rest of it, and then they have a fucking seizure. And that could ruin their life, depending on what damage it could cause. In which case, it's not worth it. If you give any shits about the person that you are even considering doing this to, don't fucking do it. Plain, simple, easy. Don't crush pills and put them in other people's drinks. Doesn't matter what it is, unless you've been told to by a doctor or they've asked you to do it. Yeah, if you're looking after an elderly relative and they need their pills crushed and added to their drinks or food so that they can consume their dose to keep them going, by all means. If it's your completely healthy girlfriend who doesn't need any pills and you just want to try and get your way some more, you're an asshole. Don't fucking do it. Don't waste your money. And quite frankly, that if you've even considered this, your partner doesn't deserve your shit, in my opinion. But anyway, as said, guys, like I'm sure that a good number of you have seen the video to which I'm referring. I don't want to give it more airtime because I think it's literally just twisted. In terms of the fact that it is fake, the fact that it is set up as a prank, and the fact that, quite frankly, the drugs involved are played off as just, oh, well, this is fun, when they are legitimate medical drugs and they can cause all kinds of problems for people. In which case, yeah, don't do it. It doesn't make the slightest bit of sense to do it. If you've got issues like that, go and talk to a doctor. If your girlfriend is complaining of a lack of sensitivity but a want for sex, a lack of drive but a want for sex, or anything like that, then go and talk to a fucking doctor. That's what they're there for. It might be momentarily embarrassing, but guess what? You're all adults. Get over it. In which case, though, guys, that's where I want to leave this. As I said, I don't want to go into it anymore. If I can dig up the study again, or the abstract from it, then I'll leave that in the description. And if it's not there, then maybe there are a couple of times when I'm uploading everything very quickly and I've got a lot going on, and so I forget to kind of put things where they need to be. So if that's the case, if you want to see the study that I'm referring to, this tiny Italian study that isn't really at all representative, but at least had some interesting results, then just remind me, and I'll try and dig it up and stick it where it actually needs to be if it isn't there already. But otherwise, guys, thank you very much. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this kind of stupid prank video that's left off as a prank, and kind of thrown out there as a prank, when it can do, this isn't a daft clown prank where you're just momentarily scaring a person or a penny glued to the fucking pavement that you then stick a camera on or something like that. It's nothing daft but harmless like that. It's a case of, we're talking about legitimate drugs here that you don't necessarily know where they come from, but if they are the drugs that they say they are, then they can cause huge amounts of damage and untold pain to your partner. And as said, crushing pills and putting them in people's drinks and stuff like that is something that you just should not be doing anyway. But anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and on these stupid things. Yeah, otherwise, I don't know. This is an exhausting thing, because I've had this pop up a couple of times with people going, "Oh yeah, isn't this funny?" On various news feeds and whatever else, and it's like, no, it's not funny. Funny would be the circumstances without the build-up, I suppose. But this, because of the situation, because it's involving real drugs and stuff like that, no, this isn't funny. It's irresponsible and it's childish and it's dangerous. Imagine the number of 16 to 18-year-olds who probably don't know better, but can get hold of this stuff and go and try and do this to people. Yeah, it's just not worth the problem that it causes to make videos like that. But anyway, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And personally, I feel that because it contains real drugs and things, this video and the people responsible for it should be at the very least cautioned, if not have the videos removed and slapped with whatever they can be. But we know that the various platforms aren't necessarily going to do that. So hey ho. But anyway, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you in the video later. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, then please drop us a like, share this video and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video later. Take care.